Hello, everybody. Welcome to Take the Black Alive, the one and only show on the internet that is talking about things like fantasy, sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek, Game of Thrones, Outlander, Walking Dead, pop culture. No one else does it. It's our idea. I hope no one steals it. We are now in week 94 of quarantine, I want to say, something like that.
That's close. That's close.
What it feels like, and we're still plugging along. I'm here. I am Dan Selcke, editor of WilliamsPoint.net, here with Mia Johnson of FanSided.com, and our special guest, Ariba Bhuvad, Wick writer. How are you guys doing?
Hello. Doing well. How are you?
Pretty well. As I said last week that, honest to God, like, I'm such kind of an introvert that I don't even feel that different being in quarantine for this long. But I don't know. Maybe it'll crack eventually.
It's starting to feel restricting, though. It's like, I don't want to go out, but I hate that I can't go out. Yeah. But even if I did, I wouldn't be going anywhere. I don't like that restriction. But I'm doing my part.
Sorry. I said there's a tweet I saw. Someone tweeted, "I'm an introvert, but God, there were still one or two places I liked visiting."
It's funny.
But as we all know, at least we are watching a lot of television while we're all stuck inside. I imagine a lot of people are. Ariba, you were just talking about that. We're all kind of in the same boat, no matter where we are, and we're going to talk about some of it today. We're going to start, though. Hey, everybody watching. Hey, Julie. Hey, Kenny. Hello. Hey, Umar. Hey, John. Terry, Debbie, thanks for joining us. And I thought we would kick off with a show that Mia and I don't know a ton about, because we have not watched it yet, although, again, now that we're in quarantine, I might as well just start. Outlander, which is its fourth season, Ariba? Or is it fifth?
Fifth season. Fifth season, yep.
Sorry. And we're in the middle of it and took a break last week. And since you are kind of the resident Wick Outlander expert, I thought I wanted to have you on to talk about, just now that we're halfway through, what have you thought of the season this far? What's the basic synopsis? What are the big things that have gone down?
Yeah, so far, we've been leading up to the American Revolutionary War. That's been, the gist of where we're headed. And the biggest thing is seeing Jamie, which is the central character. He's working with the British right now, which is totally awkward and weird for him because he's always been on the other side of things. And so that's been an internal struggle. And the reason why he's with them or on their side is because, he had a deal and he's gotten all this land and basically built a community out of it. That's where his family's been living. And so it's kind of like a give or take situation, but things have taken a little bit of a turn based on this most recent episode, and they left us hanging, and it was not cool. But it's been gradually building up to this moment, and it's been a really great season so far. I think we've been seeing all these characters in a more mature light, especially Jamie and Claire. We've seen them as lovers, we've seen them as parents, and now we're seeing them as grandparents. And I think we've just seen such a more mature side of them, and it's nice. I like seeing them in this different light. And it just feels like a more homely family environment. Obviously, there's the tension of the upcoming war and stuff like that, but I'm definitely enjoying that part of it this season so far.
Okay, so I know that the last episode, as Julie says right here, was fantastic. It ended on, like you said, a huge cliffhanger. Now, because I edit your recaps, I feel like I know what's happening even though I don't watch the show.
I have no clue. We don't have any Outlander coverage, so please fill me in.
Okay, Ariba, tell me if I'm off here. So the last episode ended with some of the characters, Claire, Jamie, seeing Roger, who is married to Brianna, Claire and Jamie's daughter. See how good this is? Yeah, I'm very good. They saw a body hanging from a tree, and it may be Roger, and that's when the episode cut off. That's when we left. That does seem like a really cruel way to leave people hanging, no pun intended, although of course it is.
It was, and I don't think we knew at that moment that we were going to have to wait an extra week. I don't think that was known right away. As far as I knew, I didn't know until I watched. I was like, are you serious? We still have to wait a week. But yeah, I mean, we don't know if it's Roger. Earlier in the episode, he was off trying to do something for Jamie and speak to his godfather, Murtaugh, to kind of try to stop them from coming against the British. And basically, long story short, without giving anything away, just in case someone hasn't watched it, this moment takes us to the end of the episode, which I guess now that we've talked about it, that is the spoiler. So never mind.
I did completely spoil it.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. But yeah, so we don't know if it's Roger, but we do know he was with the other side and he was in a nasty situation. So it could very well be him, but I really hope they don't do that to us. Like, that's not nice.
Like, can I ask, like, is Outlander the kind of show that might do that? Because, like, back in the day, with Game of Thrones, it'd be like, yeah, they probably just killed him. But I'm not sure. It like, is Outlander that mean a show?
I think they fall somewhere, because they do have, like, their books and their material. I feel like they fall somewhere between Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead has done something like that, where we've had to wait, like, 6 months to fight. So I feel like they kind of fall in between, because this could or could not be him. And given that there was another death in this episode, I really hope that that's not what they were going to do. So I don't know. I feel like it just falls in between where we're just not sure. They could go one way or the other.
Right. And obviously we're all hoping they go the he's not dead way, I assume.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
What else are you looking forward to in the second part of the season, the second half?
So I think, given what happens in the most previous episode, I think we're going to see Jamie turn back to his original side. At least I'm hoping that's what's going to happen, especially given what happened in the episode. Obviously hoping to find out right away whether Roger is alive, hopefully. And I think the biggest thing and the biggest mystery that's been shrouded over this season is a character named Stephen Bonnet, who actually raped Jamie and Claire's daughter, Brianna. And she gave birth to a kid, and we don't really know whether it's actually Stephen Bonnet or if it's her current husband, Rogers. So he's kind of been in the background this season, and I think we're just gonna get something crazy before this season ends, and I'm a little nervous about that, but I do want to know more about how it's going to take place, but I'm really scared. I don't know which way this is going to go.
I think it's a good place to be, right, in terms of TV watching. Like, if you're on the edge of your seat, I think it's moving right. And yeah,
we've got a... Oh, I was going to say, we've got a fan theory in the comments from Nicole, who says, I think one of the regulators stole Roger's clothes when they knocked him out, and it's not really Roger.
That's what I was hoping to. I'm hoping. That would be the best ideal situation, because while he's not like my super favorite character from the series, I don't think I'm ready to say goodbye just yet. So I like that theory a lot, actually.
What about I know that, like, one of the big events this season was the death of Murtaugh, Jamie's godfather. Did that work for you, Ariba? Did the show sell that moment, you think?
They did it justice. I know that in the books he's been dead for a while. So we got a little bit more of him in the show, which is great. And he's such a phenomenal character, and the actor plays him so well. And I think that they did a great job. I mean, given any character death, I think it's always really hard, especially if it's based off of a book or it has material. There's always people kind of like, are they going to do it right? But I think they did a good job. I think it was as emotional as I would have expected. I was ugly crying as I thought I would when that moment came. So I think they did a really, really good job. And I think this moment will now really change the course of the rest of the season, because obviously Jamie's really impacted by it. And if he does end up turning against the British, this could mean a lot for the community he's built with his family and the other people. Because, he has that because of his deal with the British. So I just think that this is really going to have a ripple effect across the rest of the season. But they definitely, at least I think, did a great job with it. But I still didn't want to lose him. He is one of my favorite characters from the series. So that was hard.
Yeah, well, at least I'm glad that the scene, I mean, for me, like, as long as, even if it's like a tragic, horrible thing, as long as it makes me feel something, I think it's worth it. And at least I'm glad they did a good job with it. Yeah, as Nicole says, the actors did a phenomenal job. Him and Sam both did an amazing job. So it looks like this has definitely gone over well with the fan base, at least.
Yeah,
good.
They did great.
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to get out there about Outlander before we move on? Any other Outlander thoughts?
I'm just ready for Sunday to be here. Honestly, that's all I can say. I'm ready to find out what's gonna happen, and I'm just super excited about Sunday and kind of scared, but that'll be an interesting episode.
Hopefully they'll pull a puncher too. At least you get to get that the Outlander fans get to get back to their favorite show on Sunday. The same can't be said for fans of The Walking Dead. There's a bit of a strange position right now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The Walking Dead is in the middle of its 10th season. Or no, it's not. It's the end of its 10th season. Mm-hmm. And Outlander, I think, is on like a scheduled break, right? It's like we have one episode off. The Walking Dead played every single episode of its 10th season except for the grand finale, which I think the story was they didn't have time to do all the post-production on before the coronavirus hit, and no one can go into work. So basically they shifted it to, this is the end of the season, and you'll see the finale later this year. Ariba, you are also a fan of The Walking Dead. Yeah. How did that strike you when you heard that was going to happen?
I was conflicted because the whole season I think this season has picked up a lot in the back half of it. So when it happened, I was like, okay, like, maybe this will be okay. We'll see but then I watched the last episode that they've aired, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is where, things were picking up. Like, the big thing of the season has been what's called the Whisper War. And we're pretty much like at the point where it's like the climax of the war. Things are about to get crazy. And then they dropped the promo on us. And you're like, you get to see that Maggie is a character in The Walking Dead, played by Lauren Cohan, who had previously left the show, but then it was announced, I think it was during San Diego Comic-Con last year, or maybe after, I can't remember exactly when, but they announced that she would be coming back. And of course the promo showed her, and you're like, oh my God. So that was, It was like exciting, but you're like, that's not cool, guys. Like, are you really going to do that to us right now? So, I mean, yeah, and it just stinks because we don't know when we're going to get to see how this season ends and plays out. But they left it off on it was kind of a cliffhanger, but that this was coming, like the war is about to just, come to an end or whatever. But yeah, so it's unfortunate that we'll have to wait now. I'm sad about that.
Yeah, from what I gather, it's not like as cliffhanger-y a cliffhanger as the Outlander was. It's more, it really is just a weird freak accident where it happens to be the final episode of the season has to get cut off like this. Yep. I mean, I feel bad for people involved. I mean, I'm sure they want to finish it as badly as people want to watch it. Just, no one can really do it.
I also saw that they like had just introduced a new character, like princess or something, and now it's kind of like, where does she fit in with all that? Because I'm like, who is this person?
And she's such a great. I've read up to a certain point in the comics, but I hadn't read her storyline. But just seeing her on the screen, like she's this quirky, like goofy character. She's very like extroverted, and it was exciting to kind of see that brought into the world of The Walking Dead, which can sometimes just get mundane and sad and gloomy. So there comes this like pink-haired girl, and it brings all this craziness. And we really only got one full episode of her in it, and now we also have to wait to see her story will play out, and it's a bummer.
And again, like, wait and not know to wait for how long, because it's just later this year. So it's not just the wait, it's like the not knowing how long it's going to last. Just Outlander, it's coming back. Let me ask you this, Ariba. Do you agree? Because we have some comments here from Julie saying The Walking Dead is really good this season. Do you agree with the basic kind of consensus that I've seen online, that fans are saying this season has been a bit of a bounce back from maybe a couple of like kind of meh-y seasons before this?
Yeah. I would agree. I think because it had gotten a bit, I don't know if monotonous is the right word, but at some point the same kind of situation comes up over and over again, which is why I was super excited when, the Whisperers, which are just a group of villains that are really creepy in the show, when they came in, I think it really started to get the show to a better place, like where it originally was. Because when the show first started, it was just like every episode or the first few seasons were just so great. But yeah, we definitely hit a lull, and I think this season has brought us back to somewhat closer of a place that we were when the show first started. So I would agree with that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I mean, and again, just it makes it all the more weird that now is the time to get hits with a bizarre coronavirus delay.
Yeah.
But we'll all get through it. All right. Are there any other Walking Dead thoughts you have, Ariba or Mia, that you want to share? Any? What are you hoping for from the finale?
Yeah, I'm really excited to learn about, where Maggie is in, and I hope that that's not just like a 5-second we see her and then the show ends, because that we do have this like really long delay, and if we just get her for like 2 seconds at the end of the finale, that's just going to be such a big bummer too. But I am excited just to see her again. I've always loved Maggie, and I think Lauren Cohan is a great, phenomenal actress. So I'm just happy to see her back in this world. And then, I'm looking forward to seeing the final showdown, seeing how the Whisperer War plays out. And there is a potential new community that might be coming into play. So I hope that we kind of get hints of that in the finale. I'm really, really looking forward to hopefully getting some more information on that.
From what I've read, that community is basically the last story arc in Robert Kirkman's comics. So I wonder if The Walking Dead, like it's always been this like never stopping kind of eternally living show. I wonder if we're finally getting to a point where it might be approaching like a final arc point, or maybe it'll keep going forever. I don't know.
I don't know if it will, because anytime you talk, like the creators or showrunners talk, it seems like they just don't want to end it. And now that they've created this world where there's spin-offs and movies and everything, like I don't know if we're gonna see an end to this. But yeah, compared to like where the comics are and kind of where the story's headed, one would assume that we are getting to the end, but I don't think we are yet.
Fair enough. Well, again, I'm in lockdown. I should catch up on it because I've watched up to like a certain point, like about halfway through, then I kind of fell off. But I've heard it gets really enjoyable in the recent times, so I'll try to pick it up.
Yes, you should check it out for sure.
That and Outlander, both, so I can be ready when this stuff comes back around. Ariba, is there anything else you want to say before we move on to the rest of the program?
Nope. I'm, I hope everyone's staying safe, and I thank you for having me on again. It was great to talk to you guys.
Of course, I'd love for you on. Thanks so much, Ariba, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Adios. All right. So like seriously, but both those shows kind of are blind spots for us both. I just gotta like find the will to watch them, just like I want to sit down, commit myself to Outlander. I'll do it.
Yeah, I think Outlander. Yes, I watched that per your recommendation, Debs. Okay. We can talk about it later if you want.
Yes. By the way, before we go on, a really quick reminder, or just not reminder, just going to tell you to people watching out there. We are available to listen to in podcast form on, iTunes, Google Play. Also, a little new promotion. If you leave a review in iTunes with a question, we will answer it on the next show. Just FYI. Any question at all related to this stuff, unrelated, doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I guess we'll see when we see the questions, won't we? But that's something we're doing, so feel free to go in and leave us a question on iTunes. Okay. So next up, Mia, you had something really cool that you did over the past couple of weeks. You want to share it? What was it?
Yeah, I chatted with a dear old friend. Not really. I chatted with Ashley Eckstein, who is the voice of Ahsoka Tano on Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It's that animated series been going on. It's on Disney Plus now. And we chatted about, I don't even know if this was last week or 2 weeks ago, about the whole rumors thing about Rosario Dawson potentially playing a live action version of Ahsoka in The Mandalorian Season 2. So, surprise, surprise, that in my inbox, they were like, hey, you want to talk to Ashley Eckstein to, talk about whatever, her books and all these things going on. So I was like, yes, please. So I did ask her about the rumor. Would you like to hear what she said?
I would be very sure what she said.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. And I think it's true. Like, that's one of those rumors that I think is so everywhere. And there are people who are like kind of reliable reporting it. I'm like, it's happening. Maybe we don't know all the details yet, but it's happening. What did Ashley Eckstein say?
So here's the thing. She said, now, of course, she works on the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian. They're two separate things. So she said right off the bat, she doesn't really know what's going on. She doesn't really know, who's been cast or this and this and that. But I asked her, I was like, people, you're really synonymous with this role. You've been with it since the beginning. And so, I'm sure it means a lot to you. So how would you like to see Ahsoka portrayed in a live action series? She really liked that question. She really liked that. So here's what she said. She said, Ahsoka has always been bigger than me. I've always been very outspoken about the fact that I am one member of a team of people that it takes to bring Ahsoka to life. And so what I'm proud of is what Ahsoka represents to me. Ahsoka represents hope. She represents all that is good to me. She represents, in my opinion, the light side of the Force, just all that is good and all that is light and all that is hopeful. Just such a cute response.
That is a very positive response.
Yeah, so I think she really wants, her hopes if, Ahsoka were to get a spinoff or were to, be in The Mandalorian, is to kind of just stick true to the character's roots, because I don't really think we've seen a character adapted in The Mandalorian, to my knowledge, or, brought on from one space to another.
I don't think so, yeah. I mean, I think...
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
No, I was going to say, it does pose a challenge, but I do believe that Dave Filoni, who is the sort of director for the Clone Wars, I believe he's directed an episode of The Mandalorian. If not, he's definitely had some work into it. So I think it's not going to go underserved that, they're going to have their blinders up and be like, okay, we're just going to do whatever we want. With Ahsoka, I do think that they're going to give some special care if she does appear in the show.
Oh, yeah, because Dave Filoni is the showrunner of both the Clone Wars and Rebels and The Mandalorian. So it's all part of his universe. If anybody would kind of give Ahsoka the respect that I think she's entitled to or whatever, it would be him. I've also heard they're definitely... They want to bring in legacy people in the second season, which I'm of two minds about, because one's I like the fact that the show is so kind of its own entity and not kind of mixed up with the rest of Star Wars. So even kind of a Star Wars sort of newbie like me could just enjoy it. But I hear nothing but good things about the Clone Wars. So if this guy wants to try his hand at it, I will gladly go along until I'm annoyed, and then I'll complain about it. But until then, I'll trust it.
As long as there's no threads of Luke Skywalker or Anakin, it's just let it be. You said the Skywalker saga was over, so could we please?
How long will that last, I wonder? I'm sure it will go on for a while.
Yeah.
But that's very cool.
So, she was really nice to talk to.
And she's plugging a book, right?
She is, yeah. So she's got this new book about Ahsoka. It's called I Am a Padawan. It's a children's book. It's a little golden book, but it does look really cute. It's kind of based off of that answer she gave me, just trying to inspire people to be Ahsoka is an awesome character. She's a great role model, for as far as fictional role models go. And so, it's just a really cute book. And I think it kind of perfectly represents her and the character too.
Very nice. I hope The Mandalorian hits its release date of, I want to say it's October-ish in here.
Ooh, I do hope. I don't know. Again, all this stuff is up in the air at this point.
Sure. How are you enjoying the Clone Wars, by the way? I assume you're watching it.
You know what? I am not. I had to get someone who covers the Clone Wars for us to pitch in and help me ask some questions. So shout out to Sarah. He knows who he is. Shout out to him for helping me because he does our Clone Wars coverage. I'm I know Star Wars, but I do not know Clone Wars. I know about it.
Yeah, there's so many things to catch up on. It's unreal. Yeah. But in terms of what we are watching, so you took up devs in the meantime.
I did.
How far did you get?
Oh my god!
I got to the third episode. Halfway through.
I've watched everything that's out now. I think there's 6 episodes, and the next one comes out tonight, midnight. Oh yeah. I am caught up. Not done, but caught up.
Okay, so
yeah.
Don't spoil me because I'm 3 in. Okay. How do you like it?
You know what? I can't say based off of the first 2 or 3 episodes. The first 1 to 2 was a little bit of a slow burn for me. And here's what I do like. I do like the whole mystery about Nick Offerman's, whatever his tech company is doing, whatever this technology is. I think that's definitely, you were right, that's kind of right up my alley as far as TV shows go. But on the shadow side, and I don't think I've had this problem with any show in a very long time, is that some of the acting is a little stale and it's a little flat.
Interesting.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but I hate to critique people's acting. I feel like that's that's the least of the problem sometimes. But the person who plays the lead character, the girl Lily with the short hair, I don't know if this is like the style of the show, but it's kind of just very robotic and monotone to the point where it's like, I really want to enjoy this series, but sometimes when her scenes come up between her and her ex-boyfriend, I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I have never said this about another show before, but it really, really stuck out to me. And I looked it up on Reddit too, because I was like, I can't be the only one. And there are some people who feel that way. They're like, maybe it's just because it's her first like really major role, so she needs to get comfortable. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
Fair enough. And hi, Anna, for joining us. And Julie says that she was disappointed in the last episode. It was a bit too cold. Hope it picks up a bit. I'm sure I'll get there eventually. I don't mind the acting. Yeah. I do think, like, certain directors and, like, auteurs have, like, kind of a style their actors kind of get used to. So this Alex Garland guy, like, his whole claim to fame is, like, Ex Machina, these very, like, kind of clinical sort of cerebral sci-fi shows that do definitely kind of have a more kind of distant, like, removed acting style. And I'm sure it's not for every actor. So far, I haven't had a problem with any of it. At least on the acting side. But, I mean, I'm only 3 episodes in. I'll tell you this. Do you, like me, still, like, give a little, like, ugh, like, whenever they show that giant baby outside the Amaya company? Because no matter how many times it happens, they come to it still like, oh, my God. What is that thing?
I think that might just be a you problem.
It's
a little creepy, sure. It's sure.
And they light it from the underside, and it looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, I really. Sorry, go on.
Oh, you know what? No, I don't. I'm losing track of what's what. So I don't. Maybe later we'll have a conversation about, because it reminds me of something. And I was like, what does the plot of the show remind me of? And then it hit me, but I don't. I feel like you might know. No, I think it's too early for me to say. But it does remind me of something. I'll be glad to share my thoughts a little later when you're caught up.
Very cryptic.
Yeah.
I was going to say that it reminds me of, did you ever watch Akira, the anime from like the late 80s?
I think I've seen the movie, right? There was a movie?
Yeah, I think that's all there is. There's like a comic and there's like a movie.
So I've seen that, yeah.
It reminds me of the movie because it has this like combination of all these like high technology visuals paired with like this kind of like religious chant soundtrack. It really gave me a lot of Akira, especially in the very beginning, which I like. It's like, I think this guy, I was trying to like thinks very thematically. So he's thinking, okay, like technology is the new religion, like that kind of PhD thesis kind of thought. And it crossed my mind a few times, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a very moody series. I like that it's very distinctive. I love the mood. The baby freaks me out. The acting's okay with me for right now, and I'm looking forward to what happens next. How much longer does it go on?
I believe there's 8 episodes. So if you go on I see on the Hulu app or whatever, it's like 6 episodes are unlocked, and then 8 episodes. So I think 2. This week there's an episode tonight, and then next week I believe might be the finale, episode 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will try to catch up by the finale. We'll see what happens. At least a few more. And the other show I think we're both watching is another sci-fi banger, Westworld. Its recent episode, we found out, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, that Dolores Abernathy, Evan Rachel Wood, has shoved her consciousness into all the hosts, the robots currently running around, and is basically trying to... So I think her plan is to replace people of power and influence with host versions of themselves, who all have her brain. So she just wants to be the only person alive, basically, and run everything. What do you think?
I was thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, it kind of is. It's just like it's just you, if that's the way she's going to be going. Now, maybe she does have a broader plan where it's like, eventually once I've done all this, then I can bring people along. You know what? That reminds me of Rick and Morty, where Rick was dating that person who just she could just control every single body, and she was like, if I control them, then their lives will be better. It'll be less meaningless. So I wonder if that's what Dolores is up to. But no, I did. This was because I had previewed this. I had the secret kept for at least 4 weeks now. So I've been watching it like, I know what's going on, but I can't say it. But I did. You know what? That did surprise me when I was watching it, though. I was like, okay, you got me.
I mean, that feels like they're setting up to be a villain that way. Like, I don't know. Like, again, like the Rick and Morty thing. Or like, just the idea of, like, a hive mind in general. Like, the Borg isn't nice on Star Trek. Hive minds aren't cool. I guess this isn't quite a hive mind, but, like, putting copies of the show throughout the world is generally frowned upon. It's a villainy thing to do. I think we're headed toward Dolores goes a little overboard and maybe loses the thread of what she's trying to do and becomes a villain she didn't mean to become. Whoopsie. Has to be stopped. It feels to me like where we're going. What do you think?
I feel like at some point I think Caleb is going to recognize too Aaron Paul's character that it's like, okay, maybe this is going a step too far. And I don't know, because she's getting really attached to him. So I wonder if it's going to be the same kind of thing where she gets attached to him and then she hurts him, kind of like Teddy. And, who knows? We all know what happened to Teddy. So, it's like hoping it doesn't go south for him. But, yeah.
As Julie says, Julie's loving it. Julie says, OMG, Westworld was so good. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I'm still enjoying it.
I really picked up.
I feel like Westworld and Devs kind of like go together kind of nicely. Like, they both are kind of examining, just the excesses of technology a little bit. And one's doing it in this killer robots run amok kind of way. Another in a kind of a much quieter, let's have shots of us typing sort of way. Yeah. But
they've all kind of... I was going to say, they all have this like underlying theme of, choice and free will as well. But they both do it in such distinct ways. I was like, okay, I feel like this is going to, they're going to kind of do it the way Westworld did. But it really is kind of different in the whole, between it is technology, but it's still kind of different technologies and different problems. And Devs really does progress in each episode. So they really don't hold back.
Yeah, I mean, they're in their first season, so they don't. Do you know if Devs is like a series, or is this like a one-and-done 8-episode thing? Because I have not looked it up.
I could feel it yesterday when I finished up that last week's episode. I was like, there's no way they can wrap this up in 2 episodes. I know something's going to happen. And they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger and it's not going to be done. So like, dang it.
Oh, you're probably right.
I could be wrong, but it's
a little shorter, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they can finish up in 2 weeks, unfortunately. Unless there's more episodes. I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Is there anything else you're watching you want to talk about? Anything new or old?
Am I? No, you know what? I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. So whatever TV that I have on is like in the background now. I'm too busy fishing and catching bugs and planting things.
You and a lot of other people. I'm planning to get that Final Fantasy VII remake if I can.
Oh, yeah.
And play through that a bit. I know that did you ever are you familiar with that game at all? You were probably
A
like
little. I've never
when
played.
it came
Yeah,
out.
I know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might pick up that and see how it goes.
That'd
Other
be
than
fun.
that,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
gonna
good
continue with
time.
this.
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's a good time
Yeah.
for all this kind of stuff. And all right, so we can sign off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Julie hopes Debs has a new season. Terry, I know Terry has said this. Oh, she's got Lodge 49. Which so my list right now, I got Westworld, I got Debs, I'm watching Better Call Saul, I'm watching Schitt's Creek, which is on. I've gotten into Eastbound and Down and Vice Principals on HBO, the Daniel McBride stuff. I'd never been exposed to before at all, so now I'm learning about him. Lodge 49. Yes, there should be room for that as well. Oh, and Enlightened on HBO. So I just got to get through some of that, and then there'll be some new stuff on the calendar. So just gonna make the room. Oh, and Debbie got totally caught up on Once Upon a Time on Netflix the other night. Had never seen it, but loved it. Have you ever seen that, Mia? Are you a Once Upon a Time person?
You know what? No, but I also hear good things about it. That's like the Disney sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, before we go, did you hear that on Disney Plus there was going to be an adaptation of a book series? The name escapes me. That was going to be about teenagers who work at a Disney park during the day, but then at night all the Disney villains come alive and take over the world. And
I saw.
Kevin Smith was writing it, like Kingdom Keepers or something, and it didn't go forward.
I saw you guys tweet about that.
Was too bad. That sounded very intriguing to me.
It does, especially because I love Disney parks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they said that they couldn't do it because the copyright would have been too messy with all the characters involved in one place. And I'm like, I don't know. Like you can do it for Once Upon a Time, for example, but you couldn't figure it out.
It sounds like Descendants like a different spin on Descendants. It's still Disney villains, so I don't know. But oh well.
And Kevin Smith too is an interesting talent who really hasn't found like a perfect fit for his talents in a while.
Yeah.
But
he's trying to be the king of the nerds. Yeah.
But I love a comeback. So I was thinking maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway,
sure.
That was a side story, but just caught my interest. Like, that's one of those things that was like, really? Someone okayed that?
Yeah.
But I didn't go for it. Anyway.
All right.
We are available on iTunes, Google Play, where the podcasts are available. And I'll say again, if you leave a review on iTunes, preferably 18,000 stars, or 5, it's fine too, and you ask a question, we will endeavor to look at it and answer it on the next show coming Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, a week from today, on the Winter's Green Facebook page. Thanks much for watching, you guys.
And
we'll see you next week.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, yes.